How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Mullen, which was up just over 14% on the Friday they just passed, to be exact, May the 13th. So many are asking, earnings is supposed to be coming out for tomorrow. So what do I see this stock doing for the coming week? I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Mullen. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at 98 cents, being up 14.20%. On the low, it tested 92 cents, and then on the high, testing $1.08. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 114.581 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 62.433 million shares. So we had well above the average in regards to volume, and it's part of the reason why we saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 34.35. See us curling up nicely there. And then when we take a look at the moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So it's clear to see that Mullen is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. But one thing we want to pay attention to, we are seeing some bulls stepping in and bringing this price up further. We ended up seeing a high at $1.08. I got some messages, many people saying that they bought Mullen in the 70s and took some profits when it went to $1 as well. Congratulations to those as well. Now, as far as for what we want to see it do for this coming week, I think it'd be very bullish if it can get to the 21-day EMA at $1.35. I feel more bulls would want to step in and push the stock up even further to where we can possibly get to the 50-day. But this is only going to happen unless we have buying pressure coming into the play. This is very important here. I want to make sure I'm being clear. If we don't have that and we continue to have volatility, or we have some more selling pressure coming back into the stock, remember, it wasn't too long ago where we tested around 75 cents. So if we break through 75 cents, that's where we can start testing in the 50-cent range. So add that to your homework. But for the most part, you just want to see Mullen being able to at least form another higher low. So it tested a low of 92 cents. So maybe going in on Monday, let's see if it can hold around 93 and so forth. If it cannot, that's where I want to see if it's just going to consolidate and continue to have strength above 80 cents. I think that would be a good look as well. Do know they do have earnings that is going to be coming up. Apparently it's supposed to be coming on Monday, but I'm also seeing it's supposed to be on the 24th. So there's a lot of different dates. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Mullen. Scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So we see here we have Federated Hermes Inc. that purchased 573 shares, Nelson Van Denberg and Campbell Wealth Management Group that purchased 500 shares, and we also have FMR LLC that purchased 1 share. Really, they gotta record that? But anyways, so we have Exodus Point Capital Management LP, which purchased 428,190 shares, and Northern Trust Corp that purchased 28,037 shares, and we have a couple closed positions. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 27.49%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 17.85 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.8 million, updated 18 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 3.71%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 12th, it was at 23.53, and then for the close of the 13th being at 27.49. So what does that show us, taking into consideration the short percentage of the float being at 16.78%? Mullen does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Mullen. So we can see here on the inflow, it was at 23.76 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 25.08 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 5.16 million. On the medium, it was 13.95 million, and then on the small, it is 4.65 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 5.20 million. On the medium, it was 15.56 million, and then on the small, it was 4.32 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see from May the 13th, we ended up having an outflow of just over 49,000. And then taking a look at the numbers further for the small scale orders that represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 40.23%. So this is not surprising. Mullen is a volatile stock, and it ended up seeing a high at $1.08. Keep in mind, it was just not too long ago this stock tested right around 75 cents, which many of you told me you went in with a position and you wrote it up taking some profits when it got to $1. Congratulations, that's what it looks like when you do your homework and you're just looking for a quick swing. Let's go on to the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Mullen when it comes to the price action, so we ended up seeing a high at $1.08. So what is the breakout level? It is above that $1.08. So the move you want to see is it seeing if it can get to the 21-day EMA, which is around $1.35. Again, this is the bullish case scenario. We know that they have earnings that is coming out on the 16th, but I've also been seeing some different dates as well as for the 24th and as well as for the 27th. So for the sake of this video, let's just assume that earnings is going to be coming out tomorrow on Monday. And since they've already released preliminary earning results, I'm not looking for too much of a surprise whatsoever. Most of the cash that they have on their balance sheet is from shareholders buying into the stock. So I want to make sure we're being clear. We know as far as revenues and profits, it is not in this company as of yet. They are still in a growth stage. They still have to get things moving forward. So that's why I was saying, and I've been saying it for the longest time, this play continues to be speculative in nature. So if you are going to be inside of it, just make sure whatever money you're putting into the play, you cannot be afraid to lose it. And if you are going to be trading it, making sure you have the right risk management, having a stop loss, and when it has those spikes and pops, you take advantage of it. Get that money. There's no reason why whatsoever you should be following the crowd. The crowd will be telling you, well, you know what? I'm holding for you, so why don't you hold for me? Nah, you need to worry about yourself. It is your hard-earned money. And if you decide to stick inside of the play, hey, that is perfectly cool. But just know, if it turns around on you, you got to be the one to accept full responsibility for it, and you can't place the blame on others. I want to make sure I'm being very clear about this because this seems to be a cycle. Many people get into a stock because they were told to buy in, and as soon as when that stock plummets, not only do they turn into bag holders, they start shifting the blame on the person. And that is just not right. And that's why on this channel, I never ever tell you guys when to buy a stock. I'll tell you about areas of consideration and what the price action can look like. We'll go over the technicals, but that is about it. And I know for a fact, if you're doing homework on your end, you're having a good idea of saying, well, you know what? This is a good area for entry, and this is also a good area where I'm going to be looking to take some profits. But with that said, you want to see if it can make a higher low. Most preferably, you want to see it around maybe 94 or 95 cents. If it shows some weakness, of course, it can go back to 75 cents. And if it breaks through that level, you guys already know where it could possibly go. But in the meantime, it looks like if we do have some strength coming into the sector, Mullen should be able to do fairly well. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we see that institutions are loading up on shares. Plus, on top of that, it does have short squeeze potential. Again, it is a speculative play, and this is why I make sure that you guys have a game plan before you go into it. And if you are an investor, of course, you've been able to take advantage of the opportunities while this stock has been dipping, especially when it's been well below $1, being in that 70-cent range. Many people leave in comments saying, well, you know what, I don't mind buying at these levels because I believe that this stock can go to $5, $10, $20, and so forth. And you know what? It's great that you have that high conviction because at least you know if it pulls back, you'll be more than willing to buy up the dip. I am not telling you to go out there and buy the dip, but I just want to make sure that you guys have a strategy that is right for you and you're not having anxiety before pushing that buy button or that sell button. Again, please have a strategy. I can't say this more than enough. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into Monday. We'll talk soon.